Hi Leo, welcome into a reading for the remainder of this year. We're going to jump right in and see what the remainder of 2024 is going to look like for us, beginning with the Time Traveler's Oracle deck. To begin for my amazing Leos, let's pull right from the middle. There's a focus on the past. You're going to be doing a significant amount of reflecting on past change that's taken place. I want to say within and outside of you. I do sense that you are a very intuitive soul being drawn to this reading, and I do sense that you're aware of this, but you don't always trust it if we're being completely real. You don't always remember the intuitive hits you've received that even have maybe benefited you, rewinding back, and could definitely benefit you again in that current moment, if that makes sense. So there's going to be a focus on you at times when you have trusted your intuition and when you didn't, rewinding back, and how did that benefit you and how did that not so much, okay? Horrible wording, but you get the point. How did that make things more difficult or create burden in your life or more restriction? Or maybe a sudden, windfall and a sudden tower moment is what I'm getting specifically. Let's pull right from the middle for another one. We're moving on to Exuberance. There's a huge focus on you renewing your excitement for life, you being an energy that people want more of, whether it's more so your presence online and or in person. I sense that you're being respected in the remainder of the year. You can't help but feel like it's now time to dance more so with life, but in a different way in comparison to older versions of yourself. I want to say younger versions of yourself. Because you've been transforming, my friend, and you more so will be transforming in the remainder of this year. There's a huge focus on the month of December. I'm posting this near the beginning of November, so it's really just 2 months that we're reading for about there. Could be just one for you. But I love that we do have yet again another dancing sort of imagery taking place here. Leo, it's as well going to be a very spiritually connected time for you. And I sense that your choices from the past and, shifting forward from now until the end of the year are actually playing into that. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be, a time where you're spiritually messed with 24/7 or randomly. Maybe for a select few, it does happen occasionally. But there's a lot of spiritually connected there's a lot of spiritual guidance taking place, a lot of spiritual messages coming through, spiritual preparation and prevention taking place. If you're not meant to go to the store or to that person's house or to that shift at work for one if not multiple reasons that you cannot foresee, that spirit does, whether it's your guides and or other random spirits, then you're simply not going to end up going. There's a sense of purpose wrapped up into the remainder of your year. 1000%, okay? I guarantee there has been purpose along your path up until this point, I don't doubt that, but it's even more so relevant for the path that you're meant to walk moving forward. Freedom. I sense that you do have certain aspects of your world, say a job, responsibilities otherwise, obligations, even things you create that leave you feeling maybe partial or a full lack of freedom in those moments. But I do sense that there is a freeing kind of vibe about you in your world in the remainder of the year, because you're choosing to roam, you're choosing to go on an adventure here or there, you're choosing to just go where you feel guided in the moment. You're choosing to restructure your days, your weeks, your routines in order to, or remove and, re-implement or implement in general new routines or routines in general. But it's a sense of you, whether you realize it in the moment or not. You're creating the sense and you're one with the flow of this freedom that you deserve. As I feel a lot of the remainder of 2024, you may feel like you stand alone. And they're saying this isn't necessarily a bad thing, and a lot of which onto the reading may be considered and consider themselves a partial, if not a full loner. But I do sense that regardless, you do desire at certain points the connection between you and certain souls. It's like you remember that you're spiritually connected and you have that presence. So you're not, in a sense, alone, but you feel like you're standing alone, and you even choose to at certain points, for the better or for the worse, and or the worse. But then at certain points, it's like you're initiating, and maybe even spirits drawing in, attracting in, guiding in a soul or two in that moment to connect with you, because that's what you want, that's what you deserve. Let's pull one more. Making our way to a fifth card, which is a message. Love is going to take a highlight. In two of the last attempts to get this reading done, I got the overall, not the overall, but one of the main energies of love, self-love, the potential of romantic love, or the future of a love-filled connection taking a highlight for a lot drawn to the reading. And going back to these two, they're saying to have love in your life, when it comes to another soul, even other platonic levels of love, those type of connections. You don't have to compromise, remove, adjust your freedom that you deserve otherwise. Does that make sense? There's also a pacing about the remainder of the month in a very powerful way that's coming to be. It's the sense of you knowing that you have a lot on your plate. You're even adding more onto your to-do list, onto your day, to your week even. But then you're saying, well, I know from the past that when I've rushed, when I've overdone it with trying to do a million things at once or several things, knowing I'm not Inspector Gadget, it's just overcomplicated things. So I'm going to pace myself. And you can kind of hear that in the way that I'm now channeling. Taking my time in achieving conveying the right wording to you. Let's move on to some tarot. Leo, you're putting in the hard work in the remainder of the year, and it really feels like this is working to your advantage. You can't help but feel invigorated, that exuberance coming to be once again. If you look at that electrifying sort of imagery there. I also feel like you're a little bit showy at certain points, whether you mean to in the moment or not. It's like you don't mean to, and then you notice that you were, and then you choose to after the fact at certain points. You're also going to be doing some reflecting on what you've turned your back towards, okay? Who you've learned you can and cannot trust is also a part of this time for you. Because I feel like, again, you're intuitive and you're very spiritually guided, connected, and protected. So naturally, you can't help but think about, say, in that job situation, or maybe where you're living. It could be family, friends, or even people you just have let go of, separated yourself from, again, turned your back from, potentially. These kind of thought processes, these focuses that are going to be imperative for you, because, say, for example, somebody's at work and there's one, if not a couple of different people that you are at the top of the list as far as being untrustworthy, and you've learned this, I feel, previous to this time, and you may be gaining more information in regards to that from now until the end of the year. And this is going to be assisting you so that you can be strategic, right? Avoid them to the best of your ability, or just be strategic in regards to how you do interact and work with them. You know what I mean? And even in regards to what you say and don't say to other people. The Ten of Wands coming out, I feel like there's a lot of random energy in the remainder of the year for you. As you can hear the kids in the background, there's, very dramatic and passionate tennis players in the background. There were people, this couple playing, frisbee with their dogs. It was absolutely adorable. But they're saying we've reminded you today that you prefer animals over kids. This is nothing new for me. But anyways, the 10 of Wands, I feel that you're going to, so with that said, I feel like animals and kids are a part of the remainder of the month. Energy naturally, once again, the way they're congratulating the kid. I feel as if there's a focus on heaviness within your world, and that definitely could pertain to energy at certain points, spiritually and within your world otherwise. The way people live and work is also a part of this time for you. You are so damn wise, and people are noticing this. People are remembering this. People love what you're bringing to the table in that sense, as I'm completely covering the part that those messages stemmed from. Now, Spirit saying, as we view you as a wise owl, as other people are now and more so viewing you in that way, we need you to be putting that to use, putting in the effort to get your voice out there, to get your talent out there, to express the wisdom that we gift you and that you already have and are gaining more so now and moving forward. But there's an independence and a strength about you, the strength card naturally being our Leo energy. And I feel like the remainder of 2024 really shows people that this is who you are. Again, being somebody who desires and embraces freedom, but all the meanwhile, wow, it's kind of annoying, but all the meanwhile just has to at times regain their strength, has to get up and just do what they have to do. There's an independence about you. There's a maturity about you. At times you do need to have patience and take a deep breath and cleanse your energy for some, reground yourself, because I'm not going to lie, there are certain annoyances, okay? For a lot, again, going back to how people are living and or working in that situation, in that moment or two. Noise is a part of the remainder of the year for you. The noise that you create is what I'm hearing. And they're saying energy creates noise, okay? As they were very much showing something like this Eight of Pentacles, very electrifying kind of imagery, and a feeling coming to be. You're as well going to, for a lot, see feathers. Don't be surprised. It's one of the many synchronicities coming through, messages. Whenever I see a feather, and you should think the same thing when you see them, regardless of how these pop up for you, show up, Spirit saying, we have your back. We have your back, Leo, now more than ever. Somebody drawn to the reading is gaining yet again another new spiritual guide. And think about it. If you never moved to where you're living, if you never started that job or whatever the case may be as far as the new rewinding back, that you're being pushed to reflect upon in that moment or those moments, I guarantee you wouldn't have gained that guide. And this guide is going to be so epically important for your soul growth and for the growth of something, if not everything outside of you, your world as a whole moving forward. I do feel as if there are some spiritual effects that aren't very pleasant. You need to do your best to adjust, to adapt, and not let that get the best of you. I just don't understand why people have to be so noisy. The Ace of Pentacles coming out and the Two of Pentacles. Interesting. I meant to say the Two of Swords. You might have two options in regards to a new investment moving forward, even if you don't choose to or don't have to or don't want to invest in it throughout this period. It's preparation for the future. But I do sense that you maybe are wrapped up with, say, a living situation or a work situation. For some, it's a business, and you don't fully or all see the future of it, but don't fret, because full or even more clarity in regards to that, even if you're gaining more bits and pieces of clarity between now and the end of the year, having it all figured out in that sense, understanding it fully, will not benefit you as much as you may think in the moment, if that makes sense. But moving on to the Six of Cups, the Knight of Wands, and the Seven of Cups. You have a lot going on. You're very passionate. You're marching to the beat of your own drum. And again, you're doing a ton of reflecting, as I feel there's gifting taking place towards you. Let's pull a couple of these fortune cookie cards. We're moving on to the future, okay? There's a huge focus on your bright Leo future. They're saying your strong future. Wisdom naturally coming out once again, and they're saying there's a focus on romance, the potential of which, reflection again being reiterated, and there's a focus on a property that you could obtain, you could achieve, or maybe that you already have. And they're saying the twists and turns of your Leo path are a huge part of the remainder of the year, as I do sense that how you're showing up in society is also a part of this time for you. And they're saying assert yourself. The remainder of 2024 will naturally change your life for the better, okay? So I hope this was truly helpful. I am, of course, sending you a ton of love and light. Until next time.